So 3 points go to the Netherlands after the first game, and a decent game it was as well. It could have been a point, mind you, that late chance there for Poland. Wondered, do you think they deserved that 3 points in the overall?
The first half performance, absolutely. Second half performance, I thought Poland actually were worthy of a point, and that's the way the game felt. It was kind of petering out to 1-1 draw. But then, obviously, Koeman, with the squad and the resources that he has, he empties the bench. Weghorst comes on, and what an impact from the substitute, Tony. We've seen it from him a few times. Unfortunately, we've been on the wrong end of it from him as well in the qualification campaign. But huge impact, and when you have lads coming off the bench like that who can obviously pop up with a goal, his first touch as well, massive, massive 3 points.
The Dutch fans always bring a lot to a tournament. Will the Dutch bring a lot to this tournament? Will they go deep in the tournament? Remember, it's France next.
I think they'll definitely get out of the group, especially this 3 points is massive for them, especially going into that French game. I think that they've shown in the first half that they can play nice football, they can open you up, they can get at you, but then they've shown that when it comes down to the last 10 minutes that they've got the big man to come on, and as Alan said, scoring with his first touch, you're going to need your squad if you're to go deep into the competition, and I think that they do have some good players coming off that bench as well.
Do we think they're a bit light in the middle of the park, though?
I think some of the injuries that they got coming into the tournament in key areas would be that midfield. We touched on it before the game that they're very light, they're very inexperienced, and we kind of seen that in the first half, kind of a little bit sloppy in possession at times, unopposed. But they've got players in key areas that can still unlock a team. So
those three, Tony, that played today, obviously they're playing, two of them are playing really because of the other two lads that are injured, and there's a lot of inexperience in that midfield. Reinders is a player who's with AC Milan on the way up. The other two I felt struggled, particularly Veerman. He went off after 61 minutes. I actually felt he might have made the change at half time. So that would be a concern, the midfield area, but everywhere else I think they're okay.
Let's talk about this man Weghorst, because you mentioned the goal he scored against Ireland and the amount of goals he scored. I mean, he has been something of a reject from Man United. We talked earlier about the same can be said for Depay perhaps, but what standard are we holding to this guy to?
I don't think as high to Depay, and I don't think we hold Depay to the highest standard, if you like, so he's even a notch below that, Tony, if you like, but certainly in terms of being effective, if you like, and being a big...
Is he still a Burnley player?
He's on loan last year with Hoffenheim, so that's where he's playing his trade all last season. He was very prolific in German football, ironically enough, with Wolfsburg, hence him getting the move obviously over to Burnley. Things didn't work out for him then at Burnley. Then eventually there was the surprise raised eyebrows, if you like, when he was brought in at United. Did okay in terms of just filling a void and filling a gap and being what he is, just being awkward, robust, strong.
Here, Rihanna, the strikers union has to come in here. He's a bit better than awkward.
I mean, in terms of the game and the way it's progressed, he is what you would call like an old-fashioned centre forward, but I think he's value to have in that Dutch team. I think.
Well, no value for that. But how high are you rating him? He's nowhere near the levels you're talking about.
He can score with his head. I mean, when he did against Ireland, for example, he turned John Egan as if he wasn't there. It was almost on halfway, bore down on goal, a screamer from outside the box. It was unstoppable. This guy can play.
No, he's a good player, but let's not get carried away, Tony. Like, that's why he's been at the clubs that he's been at, if you like. Wolfsburg, who's a decent club in Germany. Burnley, it wasn't like any of the big boys were chasing him. Went to Burnley, things didn't work out, never kicked the ball really, didn't work out from there. Went to United, which was only filling a void, as I say. So he's done okay, he's had a good career.
Over 90 minutes, and especially in this tournament, if the Netherlands are to go further than just getting out of the group, he's not going to be someone that they're going to play from the start. But
sure,
I think
he's not going to trouble Koeman.
No, I think the way that they're playing and the style of play that he's not that. They kind of changed when you see when they brought on all the subs, they weren't really unlocking the Polish. And
but regardless of that, anyway, he's not going to start. He's not in the same level as the other boys, like, to be fair.
Depay.
But as an impact sub, absolutely, you'd have him all day, and he's done his job today.
By the way, your comment about Depay and his headband. Dutch forward Memphis Depay defended his new on-field look as he hit back at criticism. The Atletico forward emphasised that while fans and pundits might disapprove, his girlfriend loved his new appearance.
Oh, well, once she's happy. But he struggled all day, Tony. I think he can only get away with the yellow boots and the pink boots if you're scoring the winner, and hairbands and headbands and all sorts. So we gave him the big build-up. I think we actually summed up what he is. He's the second level below, if you like. He's obviously, you have to respect the fact that he's 5 off Van Persie in terms of the leading goal scorer, but We mentioned at Lyon, a league below the elite level, if you like, the French league, that he's done very well. But Barcelona, Atletico, Man United didn't really cut it.
You can see that from the chances he had, especially in the first half, that he should have been doing a lot better. And
get rid of the stupid headband.
Did you ever get inspiration from a headband, Rihanna?
I actually have a picture of me when I was maybe 7 or 8, but I was playing tennis, and there's actually a picture of me with, I actually think it's a pink headband, when I was playing tennis. But
that's the Bjorn Borg influence again.
Exactly.
The never tennis.
Never in football. Never.
Yeah. Well, let's look back at a game that was not a silly game. It was a good game. We've been lucky with the quality of the game so far in this tournament. And the goal that won it, first of all?
Yeah, it was, as we mentioned, Weghorst, he emptied the bench, Koeman, and to be fair, Nathan Ake, probably the first time Ake got forward in that second half, little bit of space. If you actually look at it on the second replay, Tony, we'll see a slight little deflection off the defender, which takes it out of the reach of the initial pass that Ake is trying to feed it into the run there of Reinders, but falls into the path of Weghorst. You just see a little deflection there. Takes it away from Wijnaldum, I think. But Weghorst, so sharp, on it like a flash, and a brilliant left foot finish, Tony. It really is. Considering he was only on the pitch on his first touch, an absolutely fabulous finish. And we mentioned the fact that when you do empty the bench and you want your subs to come on, you want them to make an impact. A couple of the other ones didn't really make the impact that Koeman would have wanted, but you won't get a bigger impact than that coming on scoring the winner.
Rihanna, talk to me from a striker's perspective. I mean, he makes you make those sort of runs to the near post like all the time, all day, every day in every game.
Yeah, I think he executed it perfectly there. You obviously have to anticipate it and know that the space is going to be there, but if you actually watch the clip, you can see that he brings the centre back just a little bit towards the back post, which gives him that space, but it also gives him the run across him.
That's the key moment, isn't it?
And that's the key. It's about bringing someone away from the space that you want to end up in, but a brilliant finish with his left foot as well, nice and low in the front post.
And he didn't wait to try and take it in. He kind of was deciding he was going for it.
Yeah, he knew that he wasn't going to get the opportunity, he wasn't going to get the time and space in that area. This is a perfect clip to see his view. Literally brings him to the back post. As soon as the ball's coming in, then he darts to the front post, and any striker would be happy with that finish, especially with his first touch.
Is that coached or is that instinct?
A bit of both. I think they try and feed it into you, they try and drill it into you, but you have to be aware and you have to be able to see, and it's about the timing of the movement and the execution of the finish then.
That's rhythm as well, isn't it?
It's the anticipation, Tony. It's a split second. He's the one, obviously the defender feels as though he has him. It's that anticipation where the ball is going to fall, and it only takes, at that elite level, that split second. And a brilliant finish. You have to finish it once you get there.
Poland were better second half though, weren't they? And created plenty of chances.
Yeah, I was impressed with them in the second half. Obviously, we mentioned the fact that Netherlands probably outplayed them in the first half and had a bucket load of chances. But certainly in the second half, they came a lot more into the game. The manager made a change in midfield. Moder came on, the Brighton midfielder, and I felt he played just kind of solidified that midfield a lot better, and they looked a bit more assured in that second half. And these were the couple of chances that they created. I mean, it was a lot more 50-50. Again, ball down the side, had a lot more problems. That one was just overhit. This one with Zalewski, like I'm thinking there, the clips we showed before the match, could he take the defender on? He was disappointing in an attacking sense. This one right at the end as well, a lovely little cutback, but if it was a little over there, you could look, they've an overlap on the back post as well. A good chance. That was the substitute that came on, and that's a bit of a pot shot near the end. So there were much more in the game. It was a lot more even. It was a lot more 50-50. That's right at the end, Zalewski again. I was disappointed with him in an attacking sense, but he was very good and very vigilant defensively because he stopped Dumfries a lot in that second half. But I think the manager, considering they were totally outplayed in the first half and they had a very good second half and were more in it, they'll be disappointed that they couldn't hold on to get the point.
And I think they'll be looking ahead to their next game against Austria. Maybe Lewandowski will be back as well, and you know that will have been encouraging for them, because I get the sense that the Polish people feel last 16 wouldn't be a bad achievement considering how poor they were in qualifying.
Yeah, there's definitely great positives for them to take from the game. I mean, they pushed the Netherlands all the way until the last 10 minutes and they eventually got the winner, but there's definitely positives to take into the Austria game, and if they can get a win there going into the France game, especially with France playing the Netherlands next, you never know, they give themselves that best opportunity to finish in one of those higher ranked third places that gets them through to the
Will France be more concerned about the Netherlands after today, the amount of chances the Dutch had?
I think so. I think it's the group stages, you don't want to take anything for granted, and with these major competitions you tend to see that the winner eventually they grow in momentum. They don't always come out of the traps nice and hard in the beginning, but they grow in momentum. They get the results. They build up that rapport with each other, and that's what it takes to do it.
I think on that one, Tony, just in terms of, you're right about obviously the next matchup, if you like, had Poland got a point and the momentum that would have gained and gone into the Austria game, and all of a sudden you'd fancy your chance of maybe getting out of the group, I think that will knock the life out of them now. To concede so late on, having played quite well in the second half without Lewandowski as well.
Austria are weaker than the Netherlands.
Oh no, but I mean in terms of the game itself, just had they obviously got the point going into it, they'll still fancy their chances, and that's the game they would have been targeting from day one. But just them getting out of the group now, not sure.
Let's have a look at some more of the Dutch chances then.
Yeah, the second half, as we said, it wasn't as clear-cut as the first half. I think Poland done well defensively. They kind of limited them, and you're talking about maybe more so half chances. I think here Xavi Simons was probably the best one of the lot. He needs to do better to get a shot on target. But once again, the Polish defender does really well.
He was poor on the day as well, wasn't he, Rihanna?
He was, and I think the early substitutions for the Netherlands kind of hindered them a little bit. We didn't see Dumfries as high and as wide as we did in the first half, where they got all the joy, and they were nearly kind of getting in each other's space in those central areas.
I think this is the best chance. They've reached from the header 6-7 yards out, Tony. Really good ball by Depay, out swinging corner, all the pace on the ball. I think he should have done a lot better, but Poland completely limited the amount of chances. First half, obviously, all the analysis, there was 8-9 and gilt-edged chances as well. Second half, that wasn't the case.
Poland took the lead in this game, though. I mean, you know, they put it up. That suggested to the Dutch that they needed to respond, obviously, and they showed the character to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was really good because obviously here's the opening goal. We touched on it at half-time. Just defensively, I think it's really poor.
And the fact that they've conceded from corners the last 3 matches.
Yeah, I'll be concerned, but also you can flip around. They'll say to you, we've kept 6 clean sheets in the last 7 matches as well, and we spoke beforehand about defensively they're sound and they're solid. You're leaving out the likes of De Ligt, Van de Ven as well, shows you the strength and depth, but they will be concerned about that. I have a real problem with zonal marking, Tony. I think it allows for lads, there's no accountability, no responsibility when you're basically picking up a man. The likes of that, who would you blame? There's 4 or 5 that you could pick out instead of just saying he was your man, you should have been picking him up. And once they get the run on you in zonal marking, you're done. And that was Bushka. He travelled 5-6 yards, got the run on the defenders, a lovely little flicked header, where all the other 4 across that 6-yard box only are static. Not as effective in the second half. They nullified that threat down the left-hand side and eventually got taken off. But first half, this is the first 2 minutes of the game, and it shows his intent straight away, Tony. Look, taking on the full-back. I was quite surprised he played so far wide. He was really hugging the touchline in that first half, but he looked really sharp. This is a lovely little ball back. I actually think he should take that across his body and try and finish with his left foot. But
is it because he was playing so wide that he influenced the game so much?
I think so, and I think it helped with Dumfries being so high and wide up the right-hand side. It has Xavi Simons coming across, so it was quite tight maybe in that central area, but I think he isolated the wing-back and it worked in his favour. He was so confident from the get-go. All he wanted to do was get the ball, get his head up and drive. He was inside, he was outside, he was looking to get his shots off.
Is that more different to how he plays Liverpool?
Well, he's in and out of Liverpool. Towards the end of the season, he obviously had a strong finish. I don't know his best position. I think down through the middle, actually, and I was surprised Liverpool, especially when Núñez was struggling, that they didn't play him more down through the middle. But he plays off that left a lot, and sometimes I watch him and I think there's loads of ability, but he just doesn't do enough off the left. Obviously, today off the left, he was excellent. That first half, wins man of the match. Not as good in the second half. You have to play for 90 minutes, but I'd say he was worthy of that award, to be fair, and he scored as well, Tony. Okay.